Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today is my weekly Plan With Me video. I believe we're doing week 29, so let's get started. And we will work backwards and talk about all the things I drew this week. So I drew a roseate spoonbill. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but I did have to look up the spelling. Spelling isn't my thing. Northern Mockingbird. And then sometimes when I'm talking and writing at the same time, yeah, it gets even worse. Canadian Goose. So I just roll with it and try and fix it up later. An anhinga. I never drew one of those before. It reminds me of a cormorant. Anhinga. I think there's an H in there. Okay. An amethyst. Let's see. Wood star, which sounds like, I don't know, some famous person's name, but I swear to you, hummingbirds have the coolest names. African gray. And our zoo has a couple of those that are really cool. And a corn bunting. So, once again, lots of birds, lots of branches, lots of trees. This was a Paint With Me video. This was week 28. And I'm going to get out my other planner. All right, all supplies and everything I'm using will be listed in the description box below. In case you're wondering, what is she doing? We don't know. Okay, so this was on the left, so we're going to draw on the right. Let's list the things. So I did 7 bird drawings. And I'm drawing something a little bit more horizontal today, so I'm going to kind of keep this fairly narrow. You know what? I'll zoom in. Let's do that. All right, we are all zoomed in. We can see the dates here and the delineation. So I am splitting these pages in half, and half a page gets sort of a week in review plus a little doodle drawing that I'm working on. Tree research, and then we are coming up, gosh, is there only 10 days left? There's only 10 days left of this challenge, so I want to work on binding research for binding my sketchbook. Because I have a really cool idea that's gonna work with my drawings. Can you see my nails are so covered in like ink? Okay. And it's week 28 video. I have to hold this one kind of weird to make sure the ink comes out and writes properly. And this was a Paint With Me. Where I talked about World Watercolor Month. So yeah, we'll just put World Watercolor Month abbreviation. And that's the whole month of July. And I've done World Watercolor Month several times. I thought today, for my drawing, I would use my Winsor Newton Cotman. This is like the pocket sketch. I really like this one for a multitude of reasons. You get a really good smattering of making tons and tons of colors. And especially if you want to learn color theory. I apologize, mine's a little like beat up and dirty. I have some cat hair in here. It's a mess. Okay, but you get the cool green, which is the Viridian hue. You get the warm green, it's sap green. You get the cool red, which is alizarin crimson. And you get the warm red, which is the cadmium red. You get the cool yellow, which is lemon yellow. You get the warm yellow, which is cadmium yellow. And then you get, you know, your cool and warm blues. You get some really nice browns, your ochre, sienna, umbers. And then there's a white to make tints. And if you want to make, you know, a really dark value, you can combine a bunch of these and get kind of close to black, sort of. Anyway, I just really, really like this set. It's all plastic. So if you go and you want to travel and you're going through like metal detectors, the last thing you want is for your art supplies to set that off. There's a little tiny brush that I don't ever use. But it has, you know, 3 nice wells, which I obviously have used. And I've hit pan on a couple of these colors, but I don't use this a ton just because I have these colors in other things. But this is just a really nice student set. It's like $20. It's small. I know it's really early to be talking about this, but the holidays are kind of coming. So if you're looking for something fun or something exciting for yourself or for someone else, this definitely would fit in like a holiday stocking. Or just be a really nice gift. And again, I swatch everything I have, and then I try and get a really good value range with each color so I can see how pale it can be and how dark it can be. And that really helps me when I'm looking at my swatches. It's really hard to see the white, but it is there. Yeah, I don't know that you can see it. Okay, so we're going today to watercolor, and I think I'm going to use a pencil board to sort of protect it a little bit. I don't think there will be any bleeding or ghosting, but sometimes I go off the page and I don't want to get paint on the next page. So, and then there will be a little bit of warbling as the wet paint tries to dry. We are going to do my husband's favorite sea animal today. Okay, so let's get situated. And his favorite sea animal is the sea turtle. So I am just going to grab, I don't know where to place this so we can see this. I could zoom out, but then you won't get the detail. So you just won't see the colors I'm pulling, and you can pull any colors you want. You can do like 3 warm, 3 cool. You could do it all monochromatic. Just make sure that you understand the value range of shadow and highlight. That really, really helps. I'm probably gonna grab colors from here. I really like these, so I'm gonna use my pipette and add a little water to activate these. I don't know how long this pigment has sat here on this plastic, but for plastic palettes, fun tip, if you want to get them sort of prepped and ready to go, sometimes, because it doesn't perform like porcelain palettes do, and you really want a porcelain palette for your watercolor, that's like the best palette you can use. But to get a plastic palette sort of ready so the pigment doesn't like bead and it starts sort of just sitting on the plastic and not moving around too much, you can use a magic eraser to sort of scrub it, or you can use like scrub with a toothbrush with toothpaste, and that'll also prep a plastic palette so the pigment kind of doesn't avoid sitting on it too much. I don't know, these colors are really pretty. This one looks like a lot of alizarin crimson. I definitely like the cool reds over the warm reds, and if their reds skew a little more gray or a little more brown, that's even more my favorite. So I'm just going to use these colors that have already been mixed up. There is all kinds of stuff in here. Yeah, I bought one of each of my 3 kids has this exact set, so they can learn color theory and just have a fun little paint thing that they can use. I don't mind. I'm using, this is a 0 flat, so I'm working very small. I don't mind the Crayola sets. I don't mind those a ton. Like, they're okay. Just if you're trying to see if you're interested or anybody's interested and you have $1, you can get a Crayola set, okay? I would say before you rush out and buy a $20, $30, $50 set, see if you even enjoy watercolor. Some people find it difficult to try and work with pigment and then try and figure out the water and the ratios and some of those things. Like, all that can be sort of difficult to get used to if you're not, if you've never done watercolor before. So I would say try something really, really budget and just see if you like moving pigment around with paint. Like, see if that's something that interests you. If it doesn't interest you, you haven't spent a ton of money. You're not out a lot of money. And that's kind of like, I have a palette set that's a couple $100s. It's very easy to spend. Oh, my cat says hi. And she's going to keep saying hi throughout this whole video. It's very easy to spend a ton of money when it comes to art supplies, when it comes to watercolors, especially for studio grade, like professional sets, where the pigments are all light, fast, everything's all highly pigmented, very good quality. It gets really, really pricey, and you kind of want to see if this is something you love and you want to invest that, you know, the money and the time and stuff. You don't really want to spend a bunch of money on something and then just have it sort of sit on your shelf and then go, yeah, I didn't actually enjoy that very much. The thing about the Crayolas is they're chalky. So you can't really color mix. It's really tough. I mean, you could buy a couple tubes of some nice stuff, but then she's going to be like this for the whole video. I apologize. This is why we named her Magpie. Because sometimes she has a lot to say. And it just doesn't calm down. I know, she's a wildebeest. I love her. I love her so much. But like when she gets on a tirade and she just wants attention. She's really mad that my husband left and decided to walk our dog. Like, he's her favorite person in the whole world. She really loves men. And that is something that we knew when we got her when she was really little, was that she preferred men. But like, she throws full on tantrums when he leaves the house. So there's not a lot we could do about it. Like, we love her. She's amazing, but she's loud. Yeah, so just figure out your budget and how you want to allocate when you are learning and trying to figure out something new. And then be really patient with yourself. Like, understand you want something to look a certain way and be a certain way, but that's not necessarily the reality of what happens when you're first learning and creating. And then just embrace that sort of chaos. This is, what am I drawing here? This is a loggerhead. There's a bunch of different types of sea turtles, and yeah, so I'll throw up an infographic. The Smithsonian put together a really nice infographic if you're curious about the different sea turtles. We had an identification set. I will throw up a picture if I can find it, if they still sell it. It was through like a science homeschool thing, and when we were done with the turtle identification, I put picture framing screw eyes in them and turned them into Christmas ornaments. So a lot of our Christmas ornaments are kind of beachy. And they're our favorite animals. So I should have did note that there's an eyeball here. And there's a mouth. Anyway. I want a little bit of blue. I want a little tiny bit of blue in here. Just for this guy. But watercolor can be really, really quick. So we got this sea turtle in this one thing here. I know, she's so whiny. She's so spoiled too. She knows if she whines for him, he'll stop everything he's doing. Come pet her and love on her. Okay, instead of doing like little birds flying away, I'm gonna do little bubbles. Little bubbles, because we're in the ocean. Anyway. And then next week I will do my favorite aquatic animal. A lot of people know which one that is. If you want a preview, well, I drew one on one of my sketchbooks, so. I know, Cat. She's so mad. Magpie. Okay. I did this quickly. She's really whiny. I'm gonna have to go, like, love on her and give her all the attention and affection. She was napping on the bed when I started this video, but she heard me talking and then realized he wasn't home. Okay, so... oh, cats. I love them so much. I love all animals. All animals are treasured and honored in this house. Okay. with bubbles. Okay, so there's my sea turtle. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.